Liverpool had not won a league match here since 2015. That changed today. They take an 11-point lead in the table, and Pep's Manchester City finished the weekend 20 points behind the leaders. Let's hear what Arne Slot had to say after Liverpool's latest win.
What we do know is that no one saw us as a title contender when we started in the beginning of the season, and I think no one in the world of football would have expected City not to be so close to the one that leads the league, if they are not the one that lead the league. But we all know why. They had many injuries. They had a difficult period. But again, today you could see, although the result maybe doesn't show you that, but how good they are as a team and how difficult they are to play against.
Yeah, who would have known that the table would look like this at this stage at the beginning of the season? It's an 11-point lead now for Liverpool. It's a game more than Arsenal that they have played. As you can see, Manchester City 20 points behind them after 26 rounds. How times have changed. Frank Leboeuf is joining us now to talk more about it, but I will start with you, Stevie. I won't say they've won it, but I will say it's Liverpool's title to lose now.
Yeah, it would be catastrophic if they threw this away now, having got themselves in the position they had. And they've got themselves in a position because of Arne Slot. I mean, again today, he made a decision not to play centre forward. I thought he would because Jota's fit. I understood previously switching Gakpo and Diaz in there because it was only Núñez. Jota haven't had his injury problems, but today he decided not to do that, and he had Jones and Szoboszlai kind of in between the midfield and the front line, and it absolutely worked a treat from a defensive point of view. Obviously Robertson and Alexander-Arnold were the target for Manchester City, but everybody got around them and made sure that they never got the opportunity really to hurt Liverpool. And then going forward, particularly Szoboszlai was running in behind, as we saw, for his goal, and just got everything right. I mean, the tactics was spot on up until the first goal. I can't honestly say I was saying, oh, the tactics are great, because Liverpool didn't see an awful lot of the ball until they went one up. And then after that, they were just, although they didn't have as much of the ball as City, it just felt as though they were really in control of what was happening on the field. And in the end, when the final whistle goes, it's one of them. Well, that was actually not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
I think I think measured. In control, even when they didn't have the ball. At times in the first half, they pressed when they wanted to, and at other times they didn't. And in the second half, they didn't press very much. They just kept a very good shape. And Van Dijk and Konate just marshalled the back four. And if you look at the possession, and I heard Guardiola saying after the game, I think it was to Jan actually for the Norwegian channel, obviously doing the interview in English because I'm sure he's Norwegian, Mr. Guardiola is not great. We played a really good game. I didn't see that. I didn't see it. They had lots of the ball because Liverpool, well, in my opinion, Liverpool let them have the ball. And then when they coughed it up, or Liverpool won it back, I thought when Liverpool broke at times in that game, it was majestic to watch. Do you remember the one in the 35th minute when Alisson rolls it out to Konate, it goes into full-back, they're outside the penalty area, they play it around, it goes into the midfield, it's Szoboszlai this time who's dropped it off, he has a magnificent touch, all of a sudden they're running at this back four again, they've decimated the midfield of City for the umpteenth time, and it gets fed into Salah, all of a sudden Alexander-Arnold makes the overlap, and only a poor choice from him meant that it went out for a corner. It was, and the guy said it in commentary, what a goal that would have been. And I think that summed Liverpool up. Whenever they wanted to change gear and do that, they could. To me, and this for the last 3 or 4 years has been the big game in England. You know, Klopp and Guardiola, two unbelievable teams. To me, Liverpool toyed, a bit like Real Madrid did. Let's be honest, Real Madrid did it. Liverpool toyed with Man City today. They said, have your possession. We're in control of this game. And whenever Liverpool wanted to get it in, and Jones making runs, or Stevie said, Szoboszlai dropping deep, or Salah's threat in behind, whatever it was, they picked and chose whenever they wanted to go and attack this City team. It was very measured.
Very measured and majestic as well, says Craig. Frank, do you agree?
I do agree. Everything was perfect. Everything was spot on. I mean, I'm going to say something against Mr. Slot because he said nobody saw us in that position. Yes, I saw them. I was lucky, but I predicted them to win the Premier League. But I never thought they would be that perfect.
Yeah.
We were expecting to see them.
Stop!
Yeah, well, you know what?
What have you
But
been
I'm
told
right.
about
For once,
gloating?
I have to say it. No. I said, and before the beginning, that Liverpool would win because there was, I mean, the era of Manchester United has been proven over, and I love that the fact that the way I see football has finally won against the way that Guardiola sees football, and the era of possession to be annoyed and bored about watching a game, where in contrary with Mr. Klopp, but now with Mr. Slot, we see vertical football, fast reaction, efficiency, and not possession. It's what I like. And Arnold Slot has been majestic everywhere. I mean, the tactic today, the personnel that he used today to win, the set pieces, the corner kick that when Salah scored, everything was potent. Everything was perfect, and he showed that the era of success from Guardiola is over, and now we are starting a new era where football has to be rethought.
It was interesting, the John Szoboszlai selection in terms of where they played. Yeah. He's clearly looked at this back four of City, and particularly, my back's gone, particularly those centre-backs, and whoever it was, I mean, we weren't expecting it to be Ake and Kusanov. Obviously, Diaz was, I believe, dropped. But he's thinking, whoever plays there, if those two guys, you know, Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones, they won't play up top, they'll drop off. One of those centre-halves will get sucked in. And when they get sucked in, Liverpool will pick them off in behind from a Salah run or whoever it was, Diaz making a diagonal run. And if they don't get sucked in, then they'll have extra bodies in midfield. So he played a blinder in that one. He knew what the weak spot was. The weak spot was the midfield and the centre-half positions or the back four. And he played two guys in there that was a real head-scratcher for the City midfield and the City backline. Because where do we go with these guys? Do we step in? Do we not? And which one is dropping off? And it really confused them, and it worked really, really well.
In a lot of ways, we should have seen this coming, though. Because if you look at City, the two biggest problems they have, clearly on the defensive side, when teams get at them quickly, they have no idea how to deal with it. Absolutely none. And the City we see today is a team that going forward has no change of gear. It's one paced. And they're so caught up with the possession that they end up letting, regardless of whether it's Liverpool or anybody else right now, they let them get back into positions to defend. And so when you've no change of pace, you're getting nowhere. The opposition can get bodies in front of you, and then when you cough the ball up, bang, you're getting at a back line that doesn't defend together and leaves holes all over the place. And it was two, it could have been and should have been more.
If you look at the stats, you pick up a newspaper, I don't know if you pick up newspapers now or you open social media, if you're a bit of a stat nerd and you go, oh, City played well, maybe Liverpool were a bit lucky. That is not, tell me, not the story of this game.
I mean, again, if you're the stats guy, City had more shots on target than Liverpool. And I don't remember Alisson making a save. That's how blunt they were and how good Liverpool were defensively.
Frank?
Yeah, I just want to have a word on Salah. I mean, remember like 3-4 years ago when he was fighting for top scorer against Sadio Mane or with or against Sadio Mane? They were both a little bit selfish. We saw some arguments and everything. Salah has been so clever. Reminds me of Ronaldo when he got aged a little bit and a little bit older, and he changed his game, became more a striker, a scorer. Salah understood that alone he wouldn't do everything, but he could do both of them, scoring and assisting players because of his cleverness and his attitude, and it's what he's doing this season. His action when he gave the ball to Szoboszlai 4 years ago, I could have bet with you that he would have tried to shoot. He changed his football. He became very clever, smarter, and we can see the efficiency of his acts, and that's simply amazing. And I have a word. Can I have some sympathy for Guardiola in a week to fight against Mbappe and Salah? that's not a hard. That's not a very good time for him.
Sorry, just to go back to Liverpool. I mean, there's people watching going, "Oh, you're going a bit over the top in Liverpool." They're the best team in Europe at the moment. They might not win the Champions League. I mean, Real Madrid might beat them, or PSG might somehow beat them. But from back to front, they're the most organised and dangerous team in Europe. They can do both sides of the game, can't they? There's no doubt about that. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to win everything.
Any which way you want to play against them, they can stand up to you, regardless.
Which I'm not sure you could have said, as good as the Klopp era was, and listen, he had his success, but it was a different way. Same players, pretty much, as last year, but it's a different way of doing it, and there's definitely more control. There's definitely less worry when they don't have the ball to get it back. There's no, unless they're losing a game, they'll just go and press. But when they're in control of a game, it looks to me as Slot on the touchline is saying, listen, I'm okay for you guys to get back in a decent shape. I'm okay for Mo Salah to look a bit disinterested on that right-hand side, because when they win it back, they'll just pop it over the top and they'll get up and support and they're away. So at the moment, there's not a better side all round in Europe. Again, that doesn't mean that they're going to win the Champions League and all that, because you can have a bad day. Go on, Frank.
Craig and Stevie, I think, we had a perfect game from Liverpool, but we shouldn't get carried away. I mean, the last 3 games of Liverpool haven't been as good as we have seen today. I mean, there were some kind of sloppiness at some point, and we saw that, and Stevie alluded it, and we were worried about how Liverpool was going. It's where I feel they're very good, is because they can react on the top game, on the very important game, they're there. But I think we should, let's step back a little bit, because we don't know what's going to happen. I think they're going to win the Premier League. But lately, the 3 last games that they had before that one, they weren't that very good.
Everton, Wolves, Villa. But can you say that's a good response then after those nervy results?
There's only one problem that you, if you're going up against Liverpool, the only place that you can look at Liverpool and say we need to exploit that is what City tried to do today. The 2 fullbacks. After that, good luck.
True.
Good luck. The 2 centre-backs, there's no question, Gabriel and Saliba at one time were the best centre-back pair in the Premier League. Not now. Van Dijk and Konate are absolutely the best centre-back pair in the league right now. You look at the middle of the park, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and whether it's Jones or anybody else, the way they all work with each other, Gravenberg, the way they combine in terms of football, the way they defend in terms of just rugged strength and wanting to win challenges. And then you've got Salah on the left-hand side. You've got Diaz, who doesn't always have the end product, but every time he picks the ball up, you're on the edge. And if we're on the edge, then the defenders are on the edge. And then if Jota's going to be fit, or if they decide to play... So the only thing you can do, if you want to beat Liverpool, in my opinion, is you get after the 2 fullbacks. But they showed today, even though that's what the opposition did, they all get around them and they bail them out when they need to.
All those things are great going forward in midfield. I stand corrected if I miss anybody, but there is no better defender at the moment in marshalling a back 4 than Van Dijk. He's back to his, and that's not just today, but anytime, pretty much whenever a City ball was played through, he'd already seen the pass. And he was there to mop it up, knock it out, or play it back to the goalkeeper. He was, and he's just, every now and again he turned around. I saw him turn around, I think it was early in the second half, when they never got enough pressure on the ball. It went in behind, he dealt with it, and then he turned around to one of the fullbacks and he was like, tight. You know what I mean? He just a bit like before, he had his cruciate from that challenge at Everton, lost a bit of form, not a surprise, maybe a bit of confidence, a bit of sharpness. But I don't think there's a better defender in Europe at the moment.
Do you remember having a go at somebody after they scored the first goal? Everybody's celebrating, everybody's smiling, everybody's hugging and giving it all that. And he's doing the same, but at the same time, I can't remember who he was talking to, but he had a hold of somebody and he was telling them.
Jones.
Yeah, Jones, you're right, aye. I mean, exactly what Craig's talking about. This guy is just not about him, he's about everybody.
And it's the one, and it's the one thing City don't have. They've had these good defenders that have played well, but all of a sudden they're struggling. Akanji, Ake, Diaz, Stones is injured. But when it's been going well for City, it's been going well. But when it's been a struggle, none of those, and those guys are experienced players, none of them have done a very good job when fit of trying to marshal that back four. It seems with City, it's a kind of one for, they're all for each other and they're all trying to do individual jobs and they all get caught sort of all over the place. And that's why I think Liverpool, are going to be, I know we had a graphic last week when the draw was made that Real Madrid and Barca were favourites. I strongly disagree because I think defensively, from those positions we're talking about, Liverpool have the threat going forward, they have the midfield and they have the best defender marshalling a defence in Europe, in my opinion, along with Ibrahim Konate, who's just a powerhouse.
Let's get a word on City then, Frank. Are you buying what Pep Guardiola said after the game, that the future's bright with the young players?
You know what? I have a problem with, what he can say at the end of the day, because it seems to be that positioning the ball is more important than scoring a goal for him. I don't know why. I highly rank Pep Guardiola. He's maybe the best coach in the world, but I'm expecting an answer. I'm expecting a reaction from him. He's still having in his disposal the players that he had when he won the Premier League. And I can't understand that it doesn't work anymore, or at least a little bit better. With Ake, with Diaz, and some others. Yes, you don't have Rodri. Yeah, you have some injured players, but really, I don't get it, because you showed to the world that you were a magician, but you're not anymore. And when you try to find kind of excuses, because we have to respect him, it doesn't work with me. I was so disappointed by the way he doesn't react and he doesn't try to change anything. He keeps being stubborn with something which worked before but doesn't anymore. And you have to be able to react and to offer something else to your club, to your players, to your fans. And he seems to be stuck. Yes, of course, you don't have Rodri. Today you don't have Alan. Diaz was on the bench. So maybe you can find excuses. But you, again, have in your disposal players capable of doing much better than what we saw today. That wasn't enough. It was like, it's like they played well, but it's Manchester City. It's not a random club. It's Manchester City with players who won all the titles before.
It's been 2-0 both games, I believe, right? 2-0 at Anfield, 2-0 at the Etihad. And Pep Guardiola has gone away happy. In this game, I can't remember totally the game at Anfield, but I know it was dominant from Liverpool's perspective. He's gone away from this one, I think, happy that Liverpool took the foot off the gas. That Liverpool were pretty happy with what they had. That Liverpool did not take any real risks or chances. Because had Liverpool wanted to do it, I'm absolutely convinced if Liverpool had really opened up in the second half, we'd have been looking at 4 or 5. But I think they just decided, you know what, it's more important to have a good defensive shape. And if we can nick one, because they're not really creating much, if we can nick one and make it 3, fine, which they almost did. But they didn't really push to get a third and get a fourth or get a fifth, which I think they had the gears to do. And I think that tells you where City are. I'm not a big proponent if this is just going to be an easy fix for them. Going somewhere and you spend more money, and then all of a sudden he's working the magic again. I don't think it's going to be that easy.
And I think that's one of the differences between Klopp and Slot. Under Klopp, I think they would have done that. They would have tried to make it 4, 5 or 6.
Yep.
Whereas Slot has got them in a mindset of, look, it's not about being bravado and getting as many goals. It's about being in control and winning the game comfortably, without any drama, without any stress. Let's just get it done. We don't need to go 100 miles an hour. We just need to be in control of what we're doing and win the game comfortably, regardless of who the opposition is.
Well, let's take a look at the title odds right now after Liverpool have gone 11 points clear at the top of the table. Is it over for you, Craig?
Yes, for 2 reasons. One, for several reasons. The points gap, the Liverpool squad and the way they've gone about it, and the fact Arsenal have are tripping over themselves now with the form and the injuries. Let's not forget, Liverpool didn't play with a striker today. They don't have the injuries that Arsenal have. I know that. You know, they're not Salah's not out, like Saka's out, and blah blah blah. But they're finding different ways, and Arsenal, I think, are just struggling. I think Arsenal will finish second. Don't get me wrong, but I can't see them putting together a run that's going to be good enough, or Liverpool are going to have a catastrophic slip-up of 5 or 6 games where they lose 2 or 3 or a couple of draws. I just don't see it happening.
Over and done for you, Frank?
Yeah. I think it is. There is nothing can happen except a catastrophe, like the guys just say, Stevie at the beginning of the show and Craig just now. But what is that?
This is your prediction, seeing as though you wanted to gloat about them.
Yeah, what about
Okay, now I'm talking about the picture. I'm talking about the pick.
What about Man City?
What about Man City? What about Man United? What about all the ones you got wrong?
Yes, I know, but you know, at least I have one thing right. You know, I don't know where you are. You know, but whatever.
What about Forest?
No, I'm right
Delegation,
about
Nottingham Forest.
I'm right about the player of the year. I have no interest, and I still don't have any interest. Yeah,
Frank, Frankie. That's my favourite. Yeah. That's my favourite answer of the lot. Player of the year. Couldn't give a stuff.
That would be your answer. But yes, there's Frank's predictions. Some of them are all right. Some of them are all right.
Nottingham
some of them are right.
Forest relegation. Didn't see that one coming, did
but
you?
it's true that I know Slot explained that nobody expected to see Manchester City not doing that right and doing that bad. Well, let's say, but I felt that there will be something going wrong for City because he's been so perfect for some years, and at some point he has to go wrong. So it would have been that year or the year after, but it would have happened at some point. But it's very interesting to see how Liverpool cope with the situation because of Klopp leaving and Slot coming. I mean, that's a masterpiece. I mean, the people in the board, they picked the right guy. I mean, I support Chelsea. I love Chelsea, but I saw so many coaches coming, trying to sort out the problem. And I see a Liverpool coach coming, not being very known, and putting the club in the first spot in the Premier League. Well done, the board.